All right, what's up everybody? Mark your calendars because on June 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are hosting a free live webinar you don't want to miss. If you're thinking about buying a resale home, understanding the timelines of a real estate transaction is critical. Why? Because missing the wrong deadline can cost you thousands of dollars of your earnest money deposit. So in this session, you're gonna learn every major deadline in a typical real estate deal, when and how you can legally back out of the deal, how to protect your deposit and avoid the costly mistakes. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or just need a refresher, this will give you confidence to move forward in the right direction. Register now, lock in your spot, and I'll see you guys there. All right, what's up everybody? Another day, another property home tour. Today, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're not doing a video home tour. And the reason why is because I wanted to show you this brand new community that we actually have out here in Sky Canyon. So, if you guys don't know where Sky Canyon is, basically it is out northwest of the Las Vegas Valley. And this is a new neighborhood that Century Communities is actually building out, and they got Terra Skyview and Mesa Skyview. Now Mesa Skyview, we have single-story homes, okay? Terra Skyview, they have two-story homes, and as you can see, they are starting construction, and they're going to be opening, I think, July 14th. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys this neighborhood is because we always talked about this. If you are thinking about purchasing a brand new home here in Las Vegas, you want to be the first person to get in at the beginning. And the reason why is because you're going to get the lowest price, right? And as they start to build out more and more, what's going to happen is you're going to be in an equity position. Fortunately, I can't go in these because it's locked. But as you can see, look how beautiful the mountains are here. I'm going to just put on my glasses here, kind of give you a rundown. So they have three different models. So the first model is the Resident 1635, and that's the square footage. It's a 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage. The second model is the 1742, and it's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 2-car garage. Then we have the 1816 model, and that is 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms with a 2-car garage. Now I can tell you this, if you are planning on buying a home anywhere, right, you don't want to buy a home that has a 2-bedroom, because on the resale value, when it comes to the demographics of your buyers, you're going to minimize your buyers. So just something that you need to keep in mind, okay? But here is the Terra Skyview. These are the 2-story homes that they're offering. So it looks like they have 3 different floor plans, but they're only building 2 here. So we're going to only be able to tour only the 2 models. And that's kind of normal with the builders. They don't build all the models. So one of the models is going to be the 2119 model. And that's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath with a 2-car garage. Then we have the 1943 model. That's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath with a 2-car garage. Then we have the 1792, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath with a 2-car garage. Now, like I said, the grand opening is July 14th. That's when this place is going to be opened. And if you guys are interested, you definitely should come out here and check it out. Like right now, I don't have the price because they have not disclosed the price yet. I'm still waiting for VP of Sales to release the price and also the HOAs. Now some of these lots are roughly about 35 to 4,500 square feet. Here are the 2 stories here that they're building. Let's go take a look at this. This is a pretty large neighborhood. The only downside that I see is that we have all these electric lines. Here we got the retaining wall. As you can see, they're rebarring for the footers. Beautiful day today, though, I tell you that much. Today is like one of those days where you just really appreciate life. And that's kind of like where I'm at right now, where I'm just trying to enjoy and just appreciate the things that I have. Let's take a look at what they have here. It says no trespassing, so we're not going to go inside the property because I don't want to get in trouble or anything. They're using Tyvek and Alpine windows. Alpine windows, I mean, they're not like your top of the line windows. It's just a cheaper version of windows, but they actually do work. Okay, so like what I mean by that is, look, it's not a Mercedes or a BMW. It's kind of like you're driving a Honda Sonata. As you can see, we got the foam here. You're gonna add the chicken wire after. The foam is the Artec, which is actually a good brand. Looks like on this they're using felt for waterproofing, that is a good brand. These are Jumbo Techs. So it's a pretty thick mill in this one. That's what it looks like. So right down here is the entryway. I don't know if it's going to be gated or not. But what's crazy is you drive down this way, another community is up that way, another one's down this way. I don't know if you guys can see this, but we'll have a road this way too. It's definitely a little bit more windier up here for sure, but I mean, just take a look at the mountain views. Now, if you guys want to head up to Mount Charleston, there should be a road that's going to cross, and Mount Charleston is up that way. Let me flip this camera around. Now, if you guys want to get registered, just give me a call. I'll get you guys on the list so that way you guys actually get first dibs. Also, there's something that I do want to explain to you. I just recently was able to get $10,000 from one of my listings where the buyer couldn't perform. And it's just such a sad situation. And I think this is important for all you home buyers out there, that you understand like the timelines of these real estate contracts. And I've been doing this now for, going on 16 years. And I've never lost an earnest money deposit in my life, because it always comes down to timelines. And you have to track all these timelines, because when you're buying a home, there's so many contingencies. Now, if you don't know what contingencies are, these are actually roadblocks that agents put in place to protect you as a buyer. So in this case, I was actually representing a seller. We were selling the home. Home was nearly about $1 million. The earnest money deposit was only $10,000 on this one. And one of the contingencies was the appraisal contingency. And then we had the loan contingency. So what is a loan contingency? Basically, a loan contingency is where the buyer has to get fully approved through the underwriting department. So just keep this in mind, guys. Even though you guys have an approval letter, it doesn't mean that you're fully approved. You have to be approved through underwriting, okay? And when you're in a contract, you're going through the process of getting underwritten approved with a certain period of time. And in this case, one of the contingency was the appraisal contingency, then the loan contingency. Now, in the appraisal contingency, the buyer had to request multiple extensions on the appraisal contingency. When that happens, from a listing standpoint, that kind of raises a red flag, but as a courtesy, we granted those extensions. Now, what happened was the buyer had passed on the on the loan contingency. So the loan contingency was 23 days. And then on day 24, I get an email with an addendum requesting an extension. By this time, all the timelines had passed. That's when the earnest money pretty much goes hard. So that means if you want to cancel, yeah, you can cancel out of the deal. However, if you can't get this thing closed on time or perform, we keep the $10,000. Now, when the agent sent this on out to me and said, hey, we would like an extension. If not, we're going to cancel out because we're within our 23 days. I said, unfortunately, no, you're not in your contingencies. You've passed it. So he had to go back and look at the contract, come to realize that they've passed it. And they wanted an extension for a loan contingency. Look, I'm not going to do that because it's my job to represent the seller. You had enough time to get fully approved. And they were requesting an extension, but we're not going to give it to them because that tells me that probably the buyer couldn't perform. Okay? And at that point, they had two options. They can get it closed, or they can lose their money. So a few days later, they couldn't get the deal closed and they lost $10,000. Okay? This is the reason why this is so important that you work with an agent, okay, that knows all the timelines, and your agent should be corresponding with you, letting you know exactly when the deadlines are, when the timelines are. So in our case, for us to always stay on top of it, we mark checkpoints in our calendar, cross our T's and dot our I's, and then when we're under contract, we send out a timeline, okay, of when the timeline ends. But we also explain this to our buyers and our sellers on how this stuff actually works. So that way, you're always protected, okay? So, reason why I'm pointing this out is because, look, $10,000 is a lot of money. And you don't want to be in this position where you're putting down $10,000 and you're losing your earnest money deposit because of a situation that your agent forgot the timelines. And that was the case. And it's just unfortunately for the buyer, okay? And it just sucks for the agent because he messed up. And I understand in life sometimes we do mess up, but look, at the end of the day, business is business, okay? Look, on June 28th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am hosting a free webinar that's going to break down all the timelines that you need to be aware of, okay? All the contingencies. So that way it protects you as a buyer. It lets you know exactly when to back out of the deal. So if you guys want to check that out, all you guys got to do is just register. I'll have a quick plug commercial towards the end of this. But anyway, if you guys are interested in this community, please let me know. And look forward to doing business with you guys. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. All right, you guys be blessed, okay? Take care. Bye.